Hey everyone, this is your favorite history buff. We are traveling with history. Today, I want to talk about Nathan Bedford Forrest, a controversial figure at that. And I want to say that if you're looking for a video that idolizes him, this is the wrong video. I do not respect him, but his history has to be told. Yes. Anyways, why don't we begin? This introduction, I will go through his early life, a little bit of his love life, his business success, his role in the Civil War, and his role in the Ku Klux Klan. And why not? The legacy of Nathan Bedford Forrest. As you can see, yes, that's him in the picture, and yes, that's a statue of him in the background, and a Confederate flag. Well, now, to talk about his life. He didn't exactly have a rich beginning. Born in Chapel Hill, Tennessee, July 13th, 1821. Very poor, in a rural country area. And, well, he also lived in Mississippi. He had it rough. His aggressive and violent mindset came to be when he was a teenager. He lost his father, and he was the sole provider until his mom remarried. He took care of her. His education, well, not very much. So he went into business with his uncle, Jonathan Forrest, in Mississippi. Despite their successful ventures, his uncle was killed in a street fight, business dispute. But Nathan Bedford Forrest, being the man he was, he avenged his uncle, killed the two murderers, a duel, pistol, and a knife. This was before the prime of his life, so you can see where this is going. Now, I want to get to the next page of his. The love of his life. Marianne Montgomery, daughter of a minister. Quite a lady. He not only met her, but her mother as well. They were underway for service, but of course, two pranksters wanted to go after the ladies, scared them. Nearly harm. But Forrest, being the gentleman that he was, he punished them for what they did to the ladies. Yeah. Then he finally got his proper introduction. Miss Montgomery, very impressed, allowed him to date her daughter. They had married September 25th, 1845. They had 2 children together. Only one lived up to adulthood, though. It's nice pictures. Supposed to be him carrying her. Now, for his time in business, he moved to Memphis, Tennessee with his loving family. Very talented as a planter, traded livestock. He was very good with his state. And of the times, he was a slave trader. He knew how to deal with slaves, selling, trading, and everything. And he was the owner of a stagecoach company. He built up quite a fortune. He had 2 cotton plantations. He was one of the richest men in Tennessee, maybe the entire South. But things do change from time to time. You see in the background, that's just an idea of what he had under him. No rights. And for the next part, before he enlisted in the Civil War, he had no formal military training. But he started as a private in the Confederacy. And of course, for the Tennessee governor, he had requested that Forrest supply and raise a cavalry unit. And he did it with his own resources. eventually promoted to lieutenant colonel. He had his first success with a surprise attack on 500 Union troops in Kentucky. Now, next. His reputation, well, he's very brutal. He didn't give up. He's quite a fighter. He was in the defense of Fort Donelson in 1862. Despite his commander surrendering, he escaped with the majority of forces. He knew how to vanish in the night. Even when he suffered a defeat at the Battle of Shiloh, and of course, that was in Tennessee, both sides took heavy damage. He ran off in the night again with his forces. He eventually led a new command, and he was victorious in Murfreesboro, also in Tennessee, and he earned a promotion to a brigadier general. And he was a thorn in the side of Ulysses S. Grant throughout the war. He knew how to use guerrilla warfare to the max. As I said earlier, master of escape. He was surrounded by Union forces at one point, but then he attacked both sides and escaped. He also pursued retreating soldiers in Chickamauga and captured many prisoners. In December of 1863, he was promoted yet again, this time to a major general. His actions, well, adds on. This is the part, one of the most terrible actions of the Civil War. This happened at Fort Pillow. He demanded their surrender. Initially, they did refuse, and his forces went on, charged over random. He had his Confederate troops murder unarmed black Union troops after they surrendered peacefully. This war crime, unacceptable. I would say it tarnished a bit of his reputation, as it should. The black soldiers used the rallying cry, "Remember Fort Pillow," for that reason. They fought fiercely in the Union after that. Successes. He also had some failures. He did win one of his greatest victories at Price Crossroads. He's outnumbered 2-1. He had 3,500 troops. Possibly leading the Wild Goose Chase 8,500 troops, defeating more of them. And this is a quote by William Tecumseh Sherman, one of the commanders in the Union. "That devil Forrest must be hunted down and killed if it costs 10,000 lives and bankrupts the federal treasury." Yeah, he was that much of a pain. The final year of the war, 1865, he was promoted to a lieutenant general. Still, he wasn't invincible, and he suffered his great defeats, just at the Battle of Tupelo, Second Battle of Franklin, Third Battle of Murfreesboro. Quite something. This is at the end of the war. Obviously, you don't see his picture in here, but in the background is Lee and Grant negotiating the end of the war. Forrest did oppose the Union General James H. Wilson, was defeated by him in the Battle of Selma in April 1865. When General Lee surrendered, Forrest, of course, accepted that, and he disbanded his forces. Confederates lost the war, and after the war happened, Forrest returned to Tennessee to work as a lumber merchant, planter, the president of Selma, Marion, and Memphis Railroad. He didn't have as much success this time, but he, along with other former Confederates, were to be a part of the Ku Klux Klan. Now, let's get down to the next point. As for the Ku Klux Klan, they're a white supremacist group. You see in the picture, it's a different time. way after his time, 1923. But the point is to show how terrible they were. The Burning Cross. He was the first Grand Wizard of the organization. They committed acts of terrorism, which means political violence against black Southerners and white Republicans and Northerners. They wanted to prevent them from voting so they could keep the power. They kept doing this. This was the first Ku Klux Klan, till Forrest disbanded the group in 1869. Although the Klan was still active in different forms, I believe chapters, as they call them. When he testified in Congress, he denied the membership in front of them. Unfortunate, many years later, in the next century, quick facts, there'd be the second and third Ku Klux Klans. Hence the picture. Now, after his railroad business was a failure, he went into financial desperation. In 1874, he sold a lot of his belongings, watched over a prison labor camp. This was before he went back to Memphis, Tennessee, and died of diabetes on October 29th, 1877, at age 56. I don't know if this is true, but supposedly a mixture of old age, being tired over the years, and perhaps a conversion to Christianity could have cooled his temperament and made him less of a racist. I guess we'll never know. His reputation was rather mixed. He was admired by many Southerners back in the day for being the common man, starting poor, and his impressive military record. Now, as we know today, and I'm sure even back then, he was also disdained for his role in the Fort Pillow massacre and helping to form the Ku Klux Klan. That, in the background picture, is where his statue was before it was taken down. Overwhelming votes. Even some places named after him were renamed. That is the way of things. But that's all I have to his story. Confederate general, Klansman, and of course businessman. Now, I want to thank everyone for watching this video. It took me a little bit to research this one. As you could see, those who forget history are doomed to repeat it. It has to be remembered so we can know what not to be. Anyways, like and subscribe if you enjoyed this. Ding that bell for more notifications. And that's all I have for you all. Alright, bye-bye now.